Hey there guys, this is Robin Hood, and today I'm going to be bringing you another 1 versus 1 replay here in Total War Rome 2. Today I'm going to be playing as Rome, and my opponent Grant Richards is playing as Bactria. So you guys can take a look at the map here. Once it loads, of course, there you go. It's pretty flat. It looks like there's a little bit of terrain, and there's, it's a slightly rolling hill, but there's not that much to it. You can see my army there, my opponents. I'll go more in depth on that in a second once we're on the battlefield. Okay, and here we are. So like I said, it's almost completely flat. You can see there's like most minuscule dip in terrain right here. But this battle here is going to be very, very interesting. It's an extremely close battle. I'm not going to tell you guys who wins. But there was definitely, it shouldn't have been as close as it was. I end up making some major mistakes, and that is actually why I am showing this battle. So hopefully you guys can see some things not to do. But my army, I've got 5 auxiliary Balearic slingers here. These are a very good slinger unit. There they are. And then for my main infantry corps, I don't know if this was a good idea or not. They've got ridiculous attack, incredible statistics, but 5 of these Evocati cohort. Now what I could have done, these guys are very expensive. I could have dropped 1 or 2 of them and gotten a decent bit more infantry units at a lower cost. Whether that would have helped me or not, I don't know, because once again, these guys are just beasts of units. But we'll see on that. And then I've got an auxiliary infantry on either flank. Those are just spear units. And I've got 1 more in the center just to ward off any cav charges there. Legatus for my general. On my left flank I've got an auxiliary cavalry and a praetorian cavalry. And over here, this was my first mistake. I sent these auxiliary cavalry chasing after these Bactrian horse archers. And I do believe these guys are faster. Eventually I will catch them and beat them, but you can see I'm taking losses while chasing them. And that's just not something I should have done. Of course, it is keeping them away from my infantry. Here, the initial skirmish, I am going to easily destroy some of my opponent's guys. He had 2 of these Bactrian peltists, 2 elite Persian archers. Over here, this is the unit that's really a pain. These Indian armored elephants. My army, these sword units cannot really stand against these guys. And I've got some of my slingers firing at them, and that's really my best unit to deal with these guys. What I should have done here, you can see I'm all out of formation now. I should have fallen back a little bit to hopefully deal with these elephants. And here I'm accidentally going to let them catch me in the back. That's another mistake. I lost 10 guys there. See that horse just getting knocked over. So I'm just running these guys away. He realizes I'm driving his elephants away from the battle, and so I am going to keep running. He's going to end up turning back. Here my Praetorian cavalry are fighting some Bactrian noble horse. I believe my guys should have the upper hand in that fight there. And he's got a Bactrian noble horse here as well, which I'm just trying to deal with his skirmishers and ward off these guys here. And over here you can see my auxiliary cavalry did catch these guys, and they are going to easily defeat them in melee, but they're nowhere near this battle, which is where I needed them. And at this point I am charging these guys into these elephants just to try and hold them in place while my skirmishers fire. And my opponent here, he just kept running forward with these thorax swordsmen on either flank. These guys can't do crap, really, to my Evocati cohort. But he did get a very good pilot throw there and killed a few of my slingers. But I needed more of my slingers focusing on this, and this is why I should have pulled back. You can see I'm just all out of position. My opponent's got cavalry everywhere. And my army's not really good at dealing with this cav. I maybe could have had I had these auxiliary cavalry closer. And I'm not really worried about these guys. They've got such good armor that slinger fire is not really going to hurt them right now. These Bactrian horse, they do have heavy shot. They can do some damage. But It's not going to be anything that much. These Bactrian Noble Horse are going to end up going down here, though. And once again, these guys, I keep having to chase them off. I'm trying to kill these elephants, but look, I've been firing volley after volley into these guys, and there goes the first one. These Indian Armored War Elephants really are beasts of units, and like I said, I should have fallen back because now I've lost the skirmish in the center because I had some guys firing at these Indian Armored Elephants, and he keeps making me scramble my skirmishers to not fire at these guys, which is a good move on his part. I catch these noble horse, and it is kind of disappointing that spears in this game. In Shogun, they would just destroy cavalry. In this, only pikes from the front will really just annihilate cavalry if they get hit by spears. You saw I killed one or two of his guys, but it's not going to be anything that major there. So I'm still firing at these Indian Armored Elephants. They're going to plow into these auxiliary infantry, and those guys are all just going to die. It's not that fun. Still elephants going around. You can see now I'm trying to fall back a little bit and knock some of these elephants down. I'm finally getting some more of them to die. And right now they're running amok, so they're not going anywhere useful. And I'm keeping firing because they can still come back. I'm trying to drop these guys, and it's at this point that they are finally starting to drop. But my opponent brings 2 more units of Bactrian Noble Horse out of the woods back here, which I did not know existed. And his cavalry alone really can't do that much to my army, but it's just how much of it he has is keeping me from firing at these elephants. And wow, ha! I didn't realize these guys were running away. We caught that right as those poor guys happened to get hit. 2 guys in the middle of a field by elephants that were running away. So my army is in just disarray here just from this cav. And like I said, that's one thing I kind of would like to see, is if, you know, sending your cavalry into the middle of a force like this. In Shogun, they would have died. They might have done some damage, but pulling out, they would have just been slaughtered. And this, they can do it without taking that much losses. So he's just disrupting my whole army without really effectively taking any losses. And here, this fight between my Evocati cohort and his Thorax swordsmen is going to be one my men are easily going to win in there. My opponent, for the rest of his infantry, he didn't have much infantry. He had this Bactrian Royal Guard, 2 Thorax swordsmen, and 2 Thorax pikemen. And those elephants, I don't know where they are now. Here they are. Finally routing from the field. They have 188 kills to their name, so they did some damage for sure. And here my opponent's moving in his pikes and his cavalry, and it looks really bad for me. His cav is holding me in place, and these pikes will just destroy my men. They won't do it quickly because of the armor that my Roman soldiers have. Good flank charge with the Bactrian Royal Guard there. Once again, these are Evocati cohort that is helping me. And it's at this point that I'm just going to withdraw from these fights. Some of my men taking some losses withdrawing here, but I'm just trying to get my men out of the fight. Here we've finally killed another Bactrian noble horse. And these guys, I really should not have charged at those cavalry. That actually helps them. I should have stayed and braced. But I'm just trying to get my men away from these pikes. My men can easily handle these other units, but I can't handle pikes head on. So I need to rout these other units, and his cav just keeps charging in. And honestly, this would have been pretty easy had I been able to take out those elephants there. His infantry's no match. I could have flanked around. Had I kept my cavalry closer, it would have not been in this situation. So my army is getting pretty beat up here, getting pretty close to routing. And I'm just trying to fall back to where I have some semblance of a formation, and hopefully be able to combat these guys. And right here, this is the biggest break I'm going to get. My guys are now successfully away. This poor unit of Evocati cohort getting hit there. And although it is horse archers, there's still just a damaging moment there. That unit's going to be gone. So these Bactrian noble horse pulling away there. And you can see I'm trying to get my men around onto the flanks of these pikes. These guys, they're the real problem. It's these pikes. Otherwise, I could charge and win easily right now. Leave one unit back just to hold the rear from cavalry. But it's just those pike units that I cannot handle from the front. Chasing off some of his cav. Getting a few kills with the pilot throw there. It's very good. My men are backing away. We'll speed it up for a second here because it's just more of this stuff. And by the way, there's the pyramids in the background. Yeah, over there. So here I'm going to charge in on these thorax swordsmen, hoping my men can quickly cut through them, and that is exactly what's happening. You can see these guys. Romans are not exactly what they want to fight right now. I've got these spears guarding in the back, and right here I'm using this tiny unit, which is, he should have ignored them, acting like I was going to charge these pikes, just enough to create a gap here to move around on the back of these guys, these Bactrian Royal Guard. And I'm actually going to stay in this fight for a second, because this is opening up these pikes to a rear charge now from these Evocati cohort. And these Bactrian Royal Guard are getting cut down by my Evocati cohort. And he's trying to move his pikes in. This is one thing pikes aren't great at, though, is being aggressive and attacking. And here my Romans did catch these pikes in the back, but I forced them to turn away. And they are going to destroy that unit there. So their turnaround there is going to help them. I'm going to withdraw once again. Over here, my general and this Evocati cohort are effectively killing this other Bactrian noble horse unit. So slowly but surely, I am taking away some of his units here. And my men are going to be resilient. You can see these guys getting knocked off their horses. That guy getting stabbed there, very nice. Now my armies, or my opponent's army, is kind of in a ruckus. These Bactrian Royal Guard, the last unit, and these cav, of course, that I really need to take off the field. As long as I have more than 2 units remaining when I fight these pikes, I can win. I just need to catch them out of position. And one thing to know, what the heck is this guy doing here? I've got like one Roman soldier just trying to... He's like, excuse me, do you want to let me through? There he goes. He looks kind of tired. Okay, how random. Over here, though, cutting through the last of these Bactrian Royal Guard. And this is going to help me. It is his general unit. Right here, though, my general is caught out of position. He is going to get a rear charge. I am going to rally to hopefully brace my men for that. Helped a little bit, and I did successfully rout his Bactrian Royal Guard there. There those guys go running away from the fight. He's reshuffling his pikes again, which gives my men the second they need to kill off this cav. And here, you know, I'm just trying to get in a position where I'm not fighting these pikes head on. Sadly, I do believe right here my general is going to perish. And my men here fighting these pikes, maybe I should have left them in this fight. I don't know. They are starting to get their pikes down and push my men back. But my men seem to be pretty effectively cutting these thorax pikemen up. That's one thing, though. You can see, they were doing major damage to my men. I've got to withdraw out of there. So now it is my 3 units versus this last Bactrian Noble Horse, and I'm just trying to catch these pikes out of position. And I do think that if you charge pikes, there are certain times where, like, if I got the charge on the pikes right now, my men would be up against them. They can't get their pikes down. You know, your men aren't just going to back up for you. So that's one thing that I kind of would also like to see now, is if it happens every now and then, but not all the time. Like right there, my men successfully got into those pikes and were cutting through them. Then they just lowered their pikes, and that was that. But there's not room to do that. So I feel like my men should have cut through them there. Here, you can see once again, I'm just trying to catch 1 unit out of position. Moving these guys onto the flank. And right here, while I can, I'm going to get a quick charge and kill a few more of these guys. And then back out before I hopefully take too many losses. And my men kind of got caught for a second. A few of them dying to those pikes. And those Bactrian royal horses routed. So you can see this battle started very successfully with me with the skirmish. Then I mismanaged it when those elephants came in, and the Trail of Death slowly works its way over to here, where I defeated most of his army. And now we're just running around trying to catch these pikes out of position, because my men in a fight will kill these guys. Everyone here is exhausted except this pike unit, and they're going to be exhausted here soon. You can see all these men like, come on, let this end. And that was a mistake. I had an opening on the flank, and right now I've got another opening. I'm hitting these guys in the back, and is just these men getting their pikes down is not going to work. And right here, that penalty, that was what I needed to rout these guys, but sadly my guys are going to rout. These guys were about to rout. Had those auxiliary infantry stayed there a few seconds longer, I would have had this last pike unit surrounded, and that would have been victory. However, I am going to lose that one. So very good game to my opponent. He definitely did what he needed to do with those pikes, which, you know, those units doing a great job there. The elephants, of course, doing incredible, and I mismanaged fighting those guys. My skirmishers should have had more kills on them. This auxiliary cab didn't do anything because they just got trampled by elephants. You know, my Evocati cohort doing awesome. Great unit. Just not quite an opening for me. And some of my auxiliary cav, like these guys, shouldn't have chased after those skirmishers. My men could have taken the skirmish fire at least enough for me to use my cavalry to at least defeat some more of his cavalry and block those charges. Had I blocked maybe even one more cavalry charge, my skirmishers wouldn't have had to shuffle, and those elephants would have went down. So, you know, it's just small errors like that. It really messed up my army and caused a defeat there. My opponent killing 1416, I only killed 1020. However, almost came back from that. I deployed a lot more men. But yeah, great game. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Very close battle there, kind of epic. Fun one to play, and it was good for me because it let me see what not to do in those situations. You always get better when you lose, unless you just get absolutely creamed and you don't know what happened. Hopefully that doesn't happen, though. Anyways, though, once again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time with more.